And we fixed the audio.
Awesome.
So it turns out that the Swedish nation of near Stockholm.
Their GDP has funneled into those glorious meatballs.
It has some issues, man. It has some issues. I think Daniel builds his computers the way he builds his furniture, which is following like a 3-page instructional manual that like walks him through putting like little Lego logs like inside of like little holes, and and then like the furniture tips over and kills a bunch of kids. But it's sad. It's sad stuff.
I'm not broke. I don't build my own furniture.
Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. IKEA's right down the road. Don't you dare. I know what's happening. So anyways, I think the way I wanted to start off, and I know you guys didn't have audio, so I want to rephrase the question here. But I'm seeing a lot of things online where people are coming up with these loopholes in the rules. They're trying to take advantage of things that I think all of us players who've been playing for a while know that that's not the intention of the rule or not the intended way.
Dude, here's one that literally happened this weekend, and to the person and the
Brad,
guys that ruled this.
Brad, I just want to let you know your audio sounds great.
Thank you. I don't know who's in charge of that, but he's doing a great job. I guess that dude's doing swell. But this weekend, somebody fell back, and then you wanted to use the salamander strat to say you were stationary, and then wanted to basically go, I can still shoot when I fall back because this says I'm stationary. And you literally know that that's 1,000,000,000% not how it works. If you can try to make your raw argument for it, but that's not the fucking intent. I'm sorry, just go fuck yourself on that one. Brad's audio video is desynced.
Facts. See, now it's your fault, Brad. Now your audio is desynced, bro. Just quit Skype and rejoin the call.
Oh my.
It's like watching a bad movie or a great movie. Because Brad's like, guys, let me tell you about 9th edition. And then his lips are like, but he only says, let me tell you about 9th edition. I think all of ours are off sync, maybe. I'm not even sure. Tell us how to use Mantis style. Yes. Mantis style.
Fucking shit. It's fucking shit, man.
We could still hear you, by the way. Just FYI.
I was just angry at all of this.
He quits and he's like, I hate Alan.
But when I ordered it, it said a 922.
Welcome to the podcast, guys. This is our usual day-to-day.
Description. So I'm not sure
and we enjoy it quite a bit, actually. We listen to Brad. Brad recently just broke a cork while trying to open. Brad, silence your mic, damn it.
I'm not trying to silence my mic. Britt just came in and gave me my camera. So I know we're live.
We are still live, right?
Yeah, we are still live. I didn't stop. I thought it was funny.
So I can take up on Brad's ranting a little bit.
Hey, Daniel, your camera is also not synced up to your audio. I don't know what's going on right now. It's crazy.
I love everything that's happening here.
Why?
Why? Because you say why, but like the audio comes in before the video.
I'll just do like the Swedish Muppet Show then.
So funny.
Yes.
Dude.
I'm loving everything about this.
Learn
right
to
now.
lip sync.
Learn to lip sync, bro.
Why am I not even on anymore, though?
I don't know where you went. Is your camera back on?
Yeah, I can see myself in Skype.
Oh, well, then someone's got to tell me these things. I don't know. It's not.
I mean, I've never been gone. I left in 1 second.
So the real pod starts at in 23 minutes, right? This is just a test run.
This
We're
is
having
funny.
serious problems.
We have a lot of technical issues today, Brad. I don't know what you did. Who'd you piss off? Did you like fight like a gnome or a goblin or something?
I always fight gnomes and goblins. I mean, clearly.
It's more of a Verizon network, DJ.
Hoser mobile. Wicka wicka.
Oh, hey, your audio and your video are back.
Hooray.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're good.
It's the new camera I got from fallofftetruck.com.
Fall off the truck. Wait a minute. Did you get the camera that you thought was a scam?
No, we got the camera that she ordered.
Oh, okay, cool. So you got a nice camera. So anyways, going back to rules, Brad.
Well.
Or Daniel. Man, Daniel, you got that beard.
Yeah.
That beard of yours is looking good, buddy. Doing well. I like it.
Brad, did you want to keep on going with your rant about the rules, or should I take over?
Both actually. I don't like. I'm gonna let you. I know where you're gonna go with this, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna finish the Brad rant, and then I'm gonna hand it off. I'm gonna baton you for the second lap, because
he's
like,
so short, you're gonna be far behind everyone else running in the race.
Shit
So
like that drives me crazy. Because you know that's not how it fucking works. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you're trying to make your raw argument, you know 100% that that's not how it works, and there's going to be an FAQ for it if it has to be, and it's just fucking not. You know it's not. You know what I mean? Like, when you fall back, you can't do shit unless you use a strat that specifically says that. You can't just fall back and use one that's clearly to be used because you came in from reserve or you moved or whatever. It's not even an option. Go fuck yourself. That's where I feel about that. And then I hand the baton to Daniel.
I totally agree that you should play as intended, of course. I think Games Workshop could be a little bit better in creating their FAQ. Like, they're answering a question with a riddle. And they open up for new problems in their FAQ answers. So I'm pretty sure, like, the Demon Prince protecting another Demon Prince, that's obviously bullshit. But now three Talos,
I have double
three Taloses can't protect a character, but three Gretchens can.
Yeah, 100% disagree with it. That's the problem, though, is you get the intent of what they're trying to do, and then all of a sudden it creates even more issues.
So, therefore, I think, since we're talking about competitive 40K and not how you play in your basement with your friend from childhood, I think that the last ruling should be up to the tournament organizer.
But the thing is that I guess it's also up to the players to not be fucking asshats, though, too, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
But like, Tom put it things, like, for instance,
I mean, if the tournament organizers would say that we've read the FAQs and we agree that with this strat, salamanders can do this, and we allow this on this tournament, good in advance before a tournament, then you know as a player that this will happen.
I'm just pinning Tom's comment because he just shows it. Page 93 is clear. Once you fell back, you keep counting as basically falling back until your next command phase. It just just
wow.
Like we do with the
I'm super impressed that you know how to do a pinned comment on like a technology platform. That's like
it literally just says pin on comment.
I know, but like you had to read, process a thought, and like execute. Like the execute one is the one I'm the most impressed on. You usually know what to do and how to do it.
And then
I'm not saying that is the right.
Oh, wait a minute. What is this?
Someone's calling in.
My thing on that, in all seriousness, if you think about it in WTC, like, rules like this bother me because of the fact that you and I are having a rules debate at the Chain Championships, okay? Yep. First off, in the rules packet, it literally says, look the fucking rule up before you call a judge. You know what I mean? Or we can both get carded for not doing that. And things like that bother me because I feel like, one, we would have found page 93.
I think we have a call-in, guys.
Yeah, someone's calling in.
What do we get? We got a special guest?
We have someone in the chat.
Who is this? Who has invaded our stream here? What's going on?
I hear cackling.
It's definitely not me.
No one knows who you are.
Doing?
What's up?
What up?
Okay. It's Brett Perkins calling you from a bit of a far away.
Where are you, Brett? Where are you right now? Are you in Hawaii or somewhere?
He's like at 29 o'clock. So far away.
Yeah, it's 11:15 a.m. That helps. Or sorry, 11:15 p.m. That shows where I'm at.
Well, first time caller Brett Perkins. Do you have a question for the podcast or a comment or a suggestion, or what is the purpose of your call today, Brett?
So I am hearing about your stratagem that people are trying to claim they can shoot and charge I agree with Rad on this one. You're still falling back, regardless of what the stratagem says. You're no longer moving. But I would like to ask, what do you guys' top 5 opinion for the meta right now?
Top 5 opinion for the meta from the caller. Go ahead, Daniel. You first.
Like armies wise, or just our opinions on like how we feel it is.
I don't think
Army-wise.
there's army meta. Of course, Space Marines are probably the strongest codex. I think the top players right now have built a list that can play secondaries in their own fashion and can easily get 40 points by holding 2 buttons. So I think most codexes are viable. So I don't have a top 5 so far. But I mean, if I have to pick a codex, Salamander seems to be doing good. I know Alex Harrison won 2 GTs, and the Sami in Finland won 1 GT with Salamander. So I guess they're, the most math hammer codex out there right now.
I think Scars right now are the people that can high roll the highest right now, just because of the fact that they can totally take advantage of any screw ups, any misplays in deployment. If Scars go first and you have screwed up deployment at all, with Outrider bikes being so wide, a 3-man unit of Outriders can literally just grab your opponent's army because of their 20-inch move and then charge. You can literally basically have the game over if you literally can do that with 2 units. Outrider bikes are like, 3 inches long? So with your coherency, you can just grab just the entire front of an army and just pin them in their deployment zone if they fuck up.
All right, you're just on
a
tangent now. I don't even know what you're talking about. So
That's
top
meta.
5.
Hey, that's
Marines. I would put Sisters, AdMech, Orcs.
No Marines. There's so many.
Yeah, well, Marine. They're all good. They're pretty much all good. So just Marines. Marines number 1.
Fine.
Sisters, AdMech, Orcs, and Harlequins. I think I would put my top 5. Now these 4 on the bottom, I would say can be interchanged depending on player or location. I think Marines are definitely number 1 anywhere you go. And as far as the meta is concerned, I don't think there is a meta. I think there are localized metas. And I think you got to play to your local tournament, because I know if I go to a tournament here in Illinois, I know what to expect from the majority of people, and I know what the meta is going to be here. But if I look at tournaments in Kansas City or in Florida or in East Coast or in West Coast, they're totally different. So I think the meta right now is like a combination of micro metas, and there's really no way to 100% guarantee which one's the best yet. I do think Math Hammer, though, is on the side of Marines right now. It's just in terms of efficiency per wound and per output of damage. And I think there's some major gaps in like some of the points, especially around Landspeeder Tempests. So I think that's kind of causing a lot of issues with some of the events.
And grabs. There's no reason for grabs to become cheaper in this edition.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. Did we give you a good answer, Brett?
What about? Yeah, I like your answer. You also forgot to mention the Dreadnought.
Yeah, the Dreadnought too.
It's probably 210 points for the amount of output it can have. I think the reason that Salamanders and Sisters are up there is because their ability to reroll and increase their efficiency basically free of charge.
Yep.
Just for being that army.
Yep. Any rerolls right now, any reserve manipulation that you can do, like with Miracle Dice, and anything you can do that like breaks the game in a way. Like you can leave combat, re-engage combat, you can fall back and still shoot. Things like this are really like making those armies come up in front in the meta. Look at Brad's face. He's so like just sad right now. I don't even know what he's got.
I thought redeployment would be more important. I was having Ultramarines as like my go-to idea of breaking the this early on meta, but I haven't seen it. I played it a bit. It helped a bit, but not that much.
Because they have some tricks too. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. All right, Brett. Thanks for calling in, buddy. Call in anytime. Talk to you later, bud.
I appreciate it, Joe.
Have a good one.
What'd you say, Brett?
Oh, no, if he's still there, I actually want to ask how do you feel about someone doing some of that shit that you know is not the intent of it?
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. I think Brett is an interesting person to ask that question to.
To be honest, yeah, it's pretty clear what the intent is, that it shouldn't work that way. And at the end of the day, I'll have to rely on what the TO says, but I definitely would not be pleased with the decision. and I'd think less of my opponent for trying something like that. To be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, I got Alan worked up the other day on the Space Wolves thing. It was pretty fantastic.
You've never got me worked up.
You lashed
outside
out
of that
at
one
people
night in
that said
St. Louis.
One of the dudes asked about it and was like, "Hey, well, I'm thinking about playing this
Oh
weekend."
yeah, that's true. I did.
And
I
Alan
did freak
basically
out.
went on a 2-paragraph rant of "You're a bad person."
Yeah, why would you? I was like telling Brad, like, why would you let
And
anyone do
then,
that?
then he instantly went to his local game store and bought Space Wolf.
Whatever.
for
Screw all you guys. No, I did not. No, I did not. No. You guys be nice to people. Thanks, Brad.
For a minute, Space Force. Yeah, have a good one.
Take it easy, bud. But I did do one thing I did do that I wasn't super proud of looking back is War Games Con ruled that you could put thud guns underneath a Sky Shield landing pad. Oh, Daniel's on the call. Daniel, thud guns. Thud guns are an Imperial Guard artillery for Forge World that you don't know about.
I know them.
Oh, you know them.
them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. I don't have to
I've
explain to
played
like a
them
5-year-old.
And I've utilized the strategy. I don't know what they do, so I kill them first.
Okay, so at War Games Con, I took like, I don't know, 9 or something. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember if there were rules back then for like 3 only. I think I had like 9 or 12. And you could put them underneath a Sky Shield landing pad. And those were back in the old days where the Sky Shield was a ruin. So you couldn't shoot through levels. So they couldn't be indirectly fired on, right? They were underneath the Sky Shield. But they themselves could indirect fire anything else.
Yeah.
So it was the dumbest rule ever. Obviously not intended. So Brad, I'm here to confess my sins. My name is Alan, and I have taken rules out of context to give myself advantages that I shouldn't have, and I'm sorry.
You have to say 3 walks.
I shot with Scryer's Skull.
3 walks to Gaskell every night before you go to sleep.
I shot with Scryer's Skull in every phase in a tournament.
Nice.
That's just cheating. That's just cheating. Dude, hey Brad, remember that game at ATC with that dude from Torrent of Fire, Chip, versus somebody? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Tim Gorham. But it was versus somebody where he had Codiez. The guy had Codiez. And instead of telling him at the end of the phase, Codiez can shoot a unit that comes within 12, he basically...
It's per time he does them.
Huh?
And it's also per each time they move out. It happens immediately.
Yeah.
So what did he do again? I can't remember. Yeah, it happened. It's supposed to happen immediately. I think he did it at the end of the phase, though.
He did it until the end of the phase. He waited.
Yeah, he waited.
Until all of his units.
And then the guy brought on everything within 12. He's like, all right, so it's the end of the phase now. So now I can shoot everything that came within 12. And he just shot everything at it. It was so funny.
He literally shot everything with all of his army every single time for each unit.
So this is not an example of playing loose with the rules or trying to find a gap. This is just cheating. But yeah, just letting you guys know. Yo, Kim. Oh, I love your hair, buddy. I miss you. How do I do a heart? I want to do a double heart because Brad's heart isn't full. So my heart on Facebook is a better representation of how I feel.
My heart's full. It's just full of partially bacon.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
part pig.
Sure. Part pig. Part
I
pig,
am.
part
My heart
antelope.
is
Literally pig valves. One eighth pig valves.
I've got 2 roots and a valve that are all pig. So
that's good. That's good. You seem solid, bro. Seem solid.
Yeah.
But anyways, other than that, we talked about meta. We talked about people looking for gaps. We talked about how we were disappointed in people who are trying to exploit those rules.
I think that's that kind of thing. Here's my thing. I wish we had. I'll give Neil some props since he's here, and I'll give Tom some props since he's involved in it. I feel more. It's so weird because when I first went to Europe, it was so like cheaty. You had to be so on top of your game. But now I feel like I'm more comfortable in the European tournament right now than I am in the American tournaments as far as the judges backing me up on shitty plays by my opponent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have less fear of nonsense happening when I'm in Europe than I do when I'm here.
Which is kind of crazy considering that like the first year we went, Brad, me and you in Poland, there was a guy running a dreadnought with basically Blood Talons and Prescience before Blood Talons and Prescience even existed in the game. He was just like, this dreadnought, whenever it kills something, I get to reroll everything and I keep attacking every time I kill something. And like those things didn't even exist yet in the actual edition. He was just literally he was on a Team America too, by the way. And his name was Joe Cherry. And he was just blasting through the games, going, "Oh yeah, this Dreadnought's great." Is total cheating, like the whole time.
Well, we will still the best Team America moment. 100% of people said you cannot do this. 3 judges, 2 captains, 2 teams. Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Whatever.
seriously bad. But Daniel, you guys don't have that very often in Sweden, right? You guys just kind of look at the dude and you're like, Swedish, and then the guy's like, yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna try to do that.
No, I don't. But to be honest, I don't typically have any problems playing 40K at all. I have like in 28 years of playing 40K, I have one horrible game and then a handful could have been better.
You know, almost all of my games, and I love playing 40K. I mean, I want to put in as many games as possible. I'm still mad that the tournament scene isn't 4 on one day and 2 on the next on 2 days tournaments. But I love playing the game. But like I said, I do feel more comfortable when I come over because I know that shit's never gonna fly. That, you know, things that are like 1,000% supposed to be a certain way, and someone's trying to manufacture a rule, usually don't happen at the end when I go over to the team tournament. So you know what I mean?
But do you? Okay, so looking at it from the other side, obviously, I think we all are in agreement on this call. But I would have to admit there is a little bit of creativism in finding some of those issues. Like, okay, I was at LVO complaining about that list the entire time, but the fact that those guys came up with that list and that loophole in the rules is pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. So, cool? Okay. So it breaks the game.
Is that a Swedish thing, though? And one of the things, I want to go on that, because I've also never had, in all the games I played with all the Swedish guys, not to give your entire country props on that, but I've never had anybody try to shenanigan me in a you know, I don't think anybody wants to win that way, maybe. Like what Neil was saying.
Well, okay. So let me at least create some premises so that I can defend that position real quick. So number one, right? Number one, everyone's coming there to win, right? And like nothing that the Florida guys did broke any of the rules. So they didn't break any rules. Number 3, I'm not sure if they did or didn't, but from what I heard from those guys is that if they find something like this, they typically kind of report it to GW. And if GW doesn't fix it, they don't want to be held. They don't want to go to a tournament where someone else found it. So they're like, well, if I found this and GW's not fixing it, I'm going to exploit it. And I don't think this was communicated to GW because I saw the guy's face at LVO when he saw the list work, and he was just like mortified at like what was happening in the game. And obviously I think it takes away a little bit from the win and a little bit away from like just the success that they had with it because it's just a crazy loophole in the rules where they were able to exploit, you know, several rules to create essentially an unkillable model, which then led to them controlling most of the table, which then led to them controlling the ITC mission. But I think if you take into consideration the fact that they didn't want someone else to do it against them, and they were trying to do it not only to win, but also to like share with the community and share with GW like the gap or the issue. I think that's also good. Now, could they have shared it earlier and made it like illegal for the event? Probably.
But aren't those two different things, though? Like, for instance, like me trying to fall back and then try to, like, pull some bullshit that clearly isn't going to work. And if anybody FAQs it, it doesn't have to be a special FAQ. It just
That's true. Yeah, I think if anyone told Reese about it, Reese would have stopped it.
Yeah. Rules, page 93. So.
No, but I actually agree with Alan a bit. Like, I've done stuff that have been shady. They haven't been illegal. I've checked the TO before and said, is this okay at your tournament? How do you interpret this?
I've done that too.
Please go out with this. You know, tell people this is how you interpret the truth. Obviously, I wouldn't do cheating things, but there are also nuances between, you know, not doing things that are legal and being creative to, you know, build interesting lists.
I get on that, though.
In context is when you could ally with enemies, there was a rule that Necrons, if their enemies put deep strikers on the table, they could deep strike everything. In, I don't know, 6th edition.
Daniel's camera is going.
So then I allied. Then I allied with a desperate ally that were an enemy, which was Deathwing, that could, with Belial, deep strike turn 1. So I could put everything in reserve and deep strike everything turn 1. This is obviously not as intended. I'm aware of this. So I said, this is a douchey move. Contacted the tournament organizer and said, this is questionable to say the least. How do you interpret this? Because of the same reason as the Florida guys, I didn't want to go to the tournament and get this done on me. And they said, yeah, we interpret it this way. And then I brought it. And I mean, is that bad or good or crappy? I don't know.
Very similar experience, Daniel, with ATC. When ATC announced Skies of Death like 5 years ago or 4 years ago, I emailed Shane immediately. I said, hey, are you really doing Skies of Death? Because if you are, I intend to bring 5 teams of Fire Raptors. And he was like, good luck finding good luck finding 25 Fire Raptors. And I was like, okay, cool.
Alan went challenge accepted.
So we came with 25 Fire Raptors. Now, nobody on my team knew how to use that army, so we ended up failing horribly, except for me, who tabled everyone we played, and exploited the hell out of Skies of Death.
Should have probably explained formations before.
Hey, I was busy making 25 Fire Raptors, so it was tough.
No, so I'm saying we should play as intended, but Games Workshop during the 28 years I've played aren't exactly the best at writing rules.
So here's a question, Daniel, I have for you. So here's a question I have for you.
Issues in the FAQs.
So Daniel, I want to go to a tournament right now in Ohio with Brad, and I'm intending to bring something that I think is probably a miss in the rules, but I'm not positive yet. I've only had 2 games with it, and both games have gone very, very well. But there's a Forge World unit that I don't think is pointed efficiently, and I think it needs to probably have a review. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence though. It's not anything crazy broken. It's just the points are a little off. Like I don't consider it as bad as the Tempest, but the points are a little off.
Grab cannons.
Yeah. Should I email the TO about that?
But the thing is that's not anything. That is something that GW has points wise. That's nothing compared to a clear rule that's not supposed to be ruled a certain way.
It's not like a
think
gap.
we're talking about 3 different like variations of the same kind of topic, but like what I'm saying is that when something is just not that, you know what I mean? When it's clear that falling back's this, when it's clear that you can't move away from something if you can't move, all of these things are just like, yeah, you know what they're trying to intend, and it's not like you're just trying to argue something that you can use to pull shenanigans. That's what I think. I'm not talking about pre the tournament, something that's too efficient, maybe is messed up in points. I mean, I'm talking about the times when you're trying to lawyer up the rules to get something to happen that is clearly not the intent of what's supposed to happen.
What I do to prevent that is during the tournament, before everything starts, at least in Sweden, we have a rule run through session. It's like 10 minutes. Then I ask all these questions so I don't get that on me later on. So I know how it's playing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's a good point.
It really goes down to a lot of those things. I mean, like small things. I mean, we always talk about. I talk to people all the time about the fact that if you're playing somebody that you're not familiar with, for one, talk about the small things first.
You should always do that before every game. You should talk about every small thing.
Yeah, but you're gonna get everything. Talk about terrain. Talk about your strats. Talk about whatever.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
Actually, that actually gets me the most annoyed at certain games where I don't have the cleanest of reputations. And like when I start off the game, I'm like, hey, is there anything that you don't know in my army? Is there anything that you're not aware of? And I get so many people who are like, no, I know your army, and then later I use a strat or I use something and they're like totally like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. It happened at LVO a lot with Sisters, especially. I was like, hey, what do you know about Sisters? And most people were like, I read their book, I'm good. I'm like, are you sure?
No one is good at Sisters.
Do you need to know anything? No one is. I mean, even what's his face? The TO, Root. Even Root had like a problem with one of my games. He's like, hey, I think you're using that wrong. Let me pull you aside. And then I couldn't show him right away because I was in the middle of a game, but I showed him at the end of the game. I'm like, here you go. And he's like, oh yeah, you're right. Good. So like even like the head TO wasn't 100% on the rules for Sisters at the event. So it's like, things like that. I got to make sure that like, you You're just very upfront with people on like what you intend to do. Like whenever anyone pick character killer, I just tell them right away, hey, if you pick character killer, by the way, I can regenerate them for a miracle dice. Like I can spend a CP and a miracle dice, and I can bring them back to life at the end of the phase. So if you kill them in the shooting phase, I just bring them back, put them where they died, basically. And some people like even got surprised when I said that afterwards. They're like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's like, well, I told you about it, so yeah, I definitely think you should talk through stuff like that for sure.
I think it's huge on that, especially if you've never played a game with somebody before. It just literally spend 5 minutes, man. It can mean the difference between a great game and a bad game.
Yeah, same thing with terrain and all that stuff too. Cool. Same thing with terrain too.
In the beginning of the game, everybody, you find out if people are cool or not when the game gets into turns 4 and 5 and the game's on the line, whether they're actually a cool dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's actually when you find out if someone's
And
what do
I
you
actually think both ways of playing 40k is fine, as long as both are playing the
agreed.
same.
Yeah, as long as it's agreed. Yeah.
I mean, if someone tells me, no, I don't want to do any takebacks, I'm really hard with this, I want to do everything by the book, and if you forget something, but the only problem is when they're loose until turn 3, and then they become really hard with it. Then it's like, come on.
Oh yeah, they're loose. Like, yeah, it happens all the time. They're loose the whole game, and you're cool with it, right? Because you think you're playing that kind of game, and then like turn 4, you screw up something. It's the first time you screwed up something, right? Or you didn't screw it up. You just kind of are playing a little looser, right? Maybe you're just like doing things out of sequence just to save time, and they're like, oh yeah, you can't do that now, and you're like, well, this whole time I've been letting you do kind of what you're doing, and now you're gonna try to do this to me, like that's ridiculous, you know. Like I've had tons of games like that. I had a great famous game at ATC where the guy didn't deploy any venoms. He literally deployed nothing but flyers, Dark Eldar flyers. And I'm in the middle of my first turn movement phase, and he's like, oh my god, I totally forgot to put out my venoms. Like I don't have anything on the board except flyers. And I'm like, yeah, just put them on, no worries. And then he put the venoms on, obviously all the way in the back corner because I'm going first and it's my first turn. But like later, he wanted to like talk about me being 3.1 inches away from my pain boy. To get a feel no pain when I'm moving all these guys really quickly. I'm like, dude, come on, man. What kind of game are you playing here?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm copying pasting that. I've said my most truth. I have no more truths that I can drop today. More than you find out if someone is cool in turns 4 and 5. I have nothing else that I could say is more true. Just because of the fact that I think people get fake. No, that's the thing though. Is I played both of you in a million different games. And nothing fucking changes from turn 1 to the last turn. And I'm totally cool knowing that. You know what I mean? That's the thing. I don't think it should be any different, man. Just, you know, if you played super tight.
No, Brad, we played one game. Cool. We played one super tight game once. It was LVO when I was up for the win. So like that game I gave no takebacks. I remember you deploying a Wraith Knight right in the line. And I got you. Whatever. It got deployed right in the line, and it was in range. It was in range of whatever that power was. What was that power? Psychic Scream. And I'm like, Brad, you're on the line for Psychic Scream. And Brad's like, I would have never deployed within 18 inches of Psychic Scream. And I'm like, well, it's there, Brad. I don't know what to tell you. And Brad's like, whatever, dude, just go ahead. Because, you know, like you can't kill a Wraith Knight with Psychic Scream. You literally need to roll an 18 to kill it. So Brad's like, whatever, it's fine. Fuck it. Just go roll. You know, because there's odds that I don't even roll over the leadership of the model. So it's probably not going to die. And then I rolled an 18. And then I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Brad.
That was the only game. Measured my model to make sure it was a mage of a Psychic Scream. I was like, you put that model.
I don't remember this story.
You should bring a stool so you can deploy models.
Yeah, bro. I can't help. I can't help with your T-Rex arms trying to put models on the board.
LVO is not dwarf friendly. Goddammit. They did not have dwarf friendly stools ready for me to deploy on.
The lesson of this story is play Brad in a hammer and anvil deployment because he just can't reach anything. As long as there's tables touching the board.
I mean, I've done that to multiple people. Come on now. I think everyone that's played me has had to deploy one of my units at some point,
minimum.
Especially if I deep strike something.
Yeah, minimum.
I come out on your turn. I just go, here's my models. Yeah. Please put those over.
Brad's like, put those over there right away.
We have a team tournament in Sweden that is quite big. I don't know. It's like 30, 40 teams of 4 players.
Yeah, in October.
And every year we're playing. It's a great team. They actually won 2 years ago, and we ended up second. They're called Whiteout. They have a guy your height. His name is Uther. And every time we play them on like the end tables, and they have on the end tables they have 2 high tables and 2 low tables. So we
always put him on the high table.
On 50% of those tables because he can't play at high tables.
I love it. I love it so much.
So it's like we don't even have to pair. It's just like, yeah, he's gonna be on those.
Oh man. So what do you guys think with the app? You think when the app gets a little bit better, do you think they can resolve these gaps and these issues quicker? Like they could just respond faster to people who are trying to like play the rules in a shady way or trying to find issues. I think the app would be the best tool.
They could hotfix to the app immediately,
Yeah.
and you could get a notification on your app basically that there is a hotfix there.
Yeah.
It could just go boom, and this changed.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
just highlight it or something. Yeah, give you a notification, link to it. You can just click on it, and then like it tells you like what changed in the paragraph or what changed in the rule. That'd be really cool. I think that'd be the best way to fix it.
They should fix the questions with like an answer. They shouldn't try to fix the question with another question.
With a question.
You
Yeah.
have
It really annoys me that when it's like, yeah, we're gonna fix this by opening up 2 other cans of worms.
Daniel asked a question to UW. So how does deployment work here? Well, Daniel, how do you deploy?
How do you deploy? I was like,
No,
are Grey Knights going to be able?
Like,
What'd you
Go
say?
ahead.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say, are Grey Knights going to be able to smite five or 6 times with the same unit? They're like, why would you want to do that? Like that sounds really mean.
Also, it's so dumb in that all they did was put a comma. They're like, you can't cast any psychic power twice, and then blah 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 smite, and they just needed to go. You can't cast any power twice, including smite. Obviously, I said any psychic power. Like, why would that be different? It literally just is. It's the same way I feel about all of us cheating for a year, when all of us tried to warp time,
deep striking
quicken
units,
telepathic pathways after deep striking, and then GW was like, yeah, we didn't think we had to fact that, because we already said you can't move after coming in as reserve, and we all went, well,
it's not movement.
I mean, that's a good point. Good point.
No, I do think the app potentially does have the the flexibility and the right medium to solve some of those issues. I think that's what should happen once tournaments start going, once people start playing more. Once COVID dies down and we start getting more of a universal meta, I think we can address a lot of the gaps at that time. And I think until then, I think TOs really need to step up. Anybody running an event right now is a hero for trying to run an event right now, because they're crazy to run right now, especially in the States. And they need to just step up and say, this is the way that, this should be played, and we shouldn't expect people to be abusing it.
With TOs in this, I have a question for the two of you. What are your thoughts on active judging? Should the judges be actively judging, looking for things that are going on? If they see something that's incorrect on a table, jump in and say something?
yes.
I think, yeah. I mean, when you watch basketball and there's a foul committed, someone says something, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But it will also be very unfair, and because no tournament will have enough judges.
Correct. Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But if the judges just actively judge, I'm pretty sure, if I was a judge, right? Well, I would be a bad one because I don't know all the rules. But if I was a judge and I walked around, I can gauge the level of where the table's at pretty easy. Like I don't know, maybe I just have experience with this. I think you guys could too. I don't think it's just me. I think you could walk around the tournament and understand like how a game is going just by the vibe off that game. I just need to hear like 2 words said by either player and like look at the table, and I'll know this is a fun game. This is an ultra competitive game. These 2 guys are just having, a good game, right? Like this is a game where there's a problem. I can figure it out right away. Like if you get multiple TOs coming to the same table, you know that you should probably do active judging on that table now. And yeah, you're right, Daniel. You can't get judges everywhere, but you could probably pinpoint them in the right spots. At this point in time, also, we know the right people.
TOs at the top 5 tables or top 10 tables at least.
They're already doing that, right? I mean, they're not active judging, but yes, they're already there.
But
So
everybody's down with that. By the way,
mean,
in chat, we have a consensus also for yes, and more yes.
We're trying to do active judging in Team Sweden when we go to the ETC WTC, where our coach or our hang-arounds, they tell the Swedish player when they're playing wrong. They don't interact in the game. They're just saying, I heard what you said, Daniel, but that stratagem doesn't work that way, or you're not allowed to do that. So, for example, last year, if it was the year before that, me and my player played, and we had a great game. Was not a problem at all. But I was running away with the relic with my Harlequin bikes, which is
Can't pick it up.
Illegal.
Can't pick it up, bro. Can't pick it up.
I didn't think about it. My opponent didn't think about it at all. But one of our hang-around said, Daniel, you can't do that. And it's like, okay, that fuck. But it's still worth it because I was obviously doing something that wasn't legal, even though me and my opponent didn't think about it.
Yeah.
So we used it like, we backed one turn, put the relic back. My entire plan was fucked up, but
So
that was my fault because I didn't know the rules. We don't do, from our point of view, we don't do judging if they do something wrong. But then maybe our coach goes and talks to their coach to, give them the possibility to adjust it.
All the gaps in Daniel's audio because of his lack of bandwidth in Sweden, by the way, were when he was speaking Swedish. So we, as an organization, we mute those as he talks, and like they're just skips real quick as he just goes into Swedish. But I think the overall message got conveyed pretty well.
Good.
And AOS, Daniel's the same way. So AOS ETC last year, our coach told us when we were doing things wrong, but the AOS tournament allowed for the coach to also talk to the other coach if the other player was doing something wrong. And they were allowed to bring in a judge.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We can do the same.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what we try to do. We see someone else doing something wrong as a coach, then you go and talk to the other coach. You don't intervene in the game and say you're cheating. You're just trying to adjust it.
So I have two good things in chat here. First, Tim's like, active judging, and I agree with this a lot, stops the bullying that happens at mid and lower tables with one person trying to really push that. But the better comment, of course, is that the Swedish team is not just 40K. They actively coach each other in one form or another in the bedroom as well. Someone's always there to explain to you what they're doing right or wrong.
Daniel does do that. We got in the sauna together, and he was trying to coach me on how to sit on wood. So you guys can take that for however you'd like to. But yeah, no, I do agree with active judging for sure. I think that's definitely something that we should strive towards and have, and I think that also plays with some of these rules that we're talking about where people are trying to take advantage of the gaps. Let's switch over to FAQs real quick because we have a little bit more time. I wanted to talk a little bit about the 2-wound Marines and what your thoughts are with that. Heretic Astartes are also getting them. What are your thoughts with that? And do you think it's going to be big, or is it what kind of impact do you expect to see?
I think the weapon changes are going to be bigger, to tell you the truth. And I'm really happy about this. I think that 12-inch flamers are something that should have always been there because it was always silly that you had a weapon that couldn't do anything out of a reserve. Yep. But then they've taken weapons that suck. Let's be honest. Who the hell was taking a multi-melta? Not that many people were taking heavy bolters. The changes to both of those, I think, make them a viable, active, real thing. Maybe they made it better than they should have, but they had to do something. I like the fact that they're taking things. You basically look at what things are not taken ever. Let's push these up so that they're worth. Don't bring everything else down.
Yeah.
Bring those things up.
Yeah.
I don't know, Brad. As usually, I have to disagree a little bit with you. Space Marine has like 1,000 choices.
It does, actually. Yeah, that's true.
They have all the choices. The entire book is like, they have all the choices. They have more choices in their book than
it's for all Imperium.
All of the Xeno choices put together. So they don't have to have all the best choices.
Yeah, but it's for everybody, dude. That's the thing, though. But I'm saying, even if they have all the best choices, the changes are for Imperium-wide.
In the Orc Boys for 9 points, so I don't think it's the same. No.
8.
If you get 12 inches on your Burner Boys, are you going to be happy?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
No, I don't
He's
mind.
just speaking Swedish, guys. Don't worry.
And what happens with the other codexes, but I don't think buffing a codex that has been the best for over a year.
It's not that same codex though. I'm not talking about the 2 wounds. The 2 wounds, yes, maybe. But my point is that take weapons that aren't taken and make them worthy to be taken and that's Imperium wide.
I mean,
Well, first of all, the
hope-
buffs. But Daniel, the buffs are buffing a different part of the codex. They're not buffing the part that's being used right now.
Correct.
I
And it's extending
understand
just
that,
their codex.
Yeah.
So if the new codex standard is that everything in our codex is viable, and this will be applicable for all other codexes, I'm fine with it.
That would be
Yes, that's
awesome,
kinda
right?
where-
Yeah,
that's where
we
I'm
should
going with
strive.
That'd be awesome, because then we
We
will
should
see
strive
the
to that.
diversity in builds.
Ooh.
But if this is like, everything in Space Marines is viable, but orcs or I don't know, Necrons still have kind of
Well,
crappy
that's the
choices.
thing. If all the
Just be
weapons get
patient.
buffed, though, things that were
Just be
bad
patient.
are starting to get up. I mean, and right now it's all the Imperium. So Flamers obviously are better for everyone. Sisters get way pumped up. Guard gets way pumped up because you can drop special weapons. You can do heavy bolters.
Yeah, no, sure.
But I'm saying, like, if they're going to do that with everybody, though, because Chaos obviously is getting like a fallout for that because they have the same type of weapons. So they're going to get a buff.
I think the 2 wounds is going to drastically help Chaos more than Marines. I still think Marine players are going to be playing the same Primaris type of stuff.
It depends on the points, though, because if the points go up too much, you'll have more durability but less output.
I don't know how much the points are going up for Chaos-based Marines. Based on your talking, though,
I don't know.
You're suggesting they will go up. I did hear
Yes,
for
you
everyone
do.
in the chat. We broke.
I
by the way,
I
we
know
broke.
I never know final
We
points.
we broke the 2 wounds thing on our channel like a couple months ago, and I'm gonna reveal another one right now that I got word of. And Brad knows none of this stuff, so I don't get anything from him, obviously. But I heard that Plague Marines will be losing their 5+ feel no pain when they gain 2 wounds, and their Nurgle ability will change. It'll either be a negative to hit, or it'll be something like a negative to hit, is what I've been hearing. But they will no longer have 5+ feel no pain, but they will go up to 2 wounds, just like Noise Marines and Corn Berserkers. And I think anyone listening who's hearing this would be like, oh, well, that actually will make sense, because 2 wound Plague Marines would be insane. So I think there needs to be a tweak there, and I'm not surprised by hearing that from the rumor mill. So I'm curious to see what actually happens.
I like troops though with 2 wounds. Period. Though I think a lot of the big troops.
Yeah, but not
to tell you the
T5,
truth,
not
I think
T5
Immortals-
troops with 5+ feel no pains. No.
No, but I think that, like for instance, Necrons. I think that if you're going to pay the point cost for Immortals should be 2 wounds T5.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Immortals are going to be 2 wounds, aren't they? Oh wait, we're not supposed to say this.
I do not know certain things. I know what they said. Everybody thinks I know more than I do. I never get the.
I
final.
literally
I'm
don't
as
ask you
surprised
anything.
as you guys.
I don't ask you anything because I don't want to get you in trouble. I get all my information from Russia and from Europe and from people on the West Coast and other people. So I don't talk to you. But I'm pretty sure Immortals are going up in wounds. Yes. So, but yeah, Daniel, to answer your question, well, earlier you made a statement about Necrons. And I'm just telling you right now, man, be patient, because that codex is coming. And I think it is going to be very, very friendly across the board.
Well,
Yeah.
It's also
I
possible.
don't care about Necrons per se. I play all the codexes, so it doesn't matter. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Look at me, I'm flying. Oh, no, wait, maybe not. I play all the codexes. But my internet signal is horrible.
Saying that the new standard that they're doing for Space Marine has to be applied on all the codexes. I love the idea of having a codex where every unit is playable.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
that will,
Yeah.
because I hate.
Well,
the
I mean, but the problem.
from
So the problem
internet
with that,
is-
though.
it drives me insane.
But the problem with that, though, Daniel, is it can never stay that way. I think a lot of codexes came out where almost every unit was playable. I don't think every unit's always been
There's
playable.
always going to be garbage, though. There's
But
gonna
no,
be-
but as time changes, the codex is going to be less viable because the meta will
Yes.
change. Other codexes will
Yes.
change.
But you know
Like
it's
when
coming
Dark
out so
Eldar
far
came
in
out,
advance, though.
I thought personally when the Dark Eldar book came out, the original, like the one we have right now, that Dark Eldar book that came out, I thought it was great. I thought you can almost play almost anything. Grotesques were good. Hellions were horrible, but still fun to play, and I think could fit in a list in some ways. Witches were good. I think there were a lot of things you could take in the Dark Eldar book, for example. And now I don't think there's very many builds right now with Dark Eldar because the game has changed. So it's hard to have all the codexes all tweaked where you can play with everything at the same time. But I think each codex will have its day. And I think I'm seeing those days come quicker than they have in history. You know, I waited 10 years for like an Orc Codex or more. I don't know how long we waited for an Orc Codex between like 3rd and 7th or whenever we got it.
I have a pretty unpopular opinion because I think that most of your your hardcore main thing should have 2 wounds, just because they're so hardcore and fluff. Big
Yeah, but that's
Marines-
going to turn the game into more of a skirmish, which we're going to talk
but
about
you-
later
you
today.
Still have one. You still have one wound guys that are your scrubs, but like like big orc models should have 2 wounds, Marines should have 2 wounds, Immortals should have 2. Just all those things that like per fluff.
Well,
it's just silly that they get hit by anything that gives them a scratch.
So the problem with that though, Brad, is that when you start doing stuff like that, you're going to start increasing points, and you're going to make games smaller, and they're going to become more skirmish style-y and less army-wide style-y, right? And we're already doing that now.
We're trying to do already?
We are trying to do that already, and we're going to talk about. I'm going to do a quick plug. We're going to talk about that later today with the boys guys later tonight, and we're going to have that episode up soon on the YouTubes of reactions to 9th. So if you guys haven't gone on YouTube already, please do. Please subscribe. Check out some of our reaction episodes with people like Aiden Barkley, Ben Moley, Fred Fortman, James Carmona, and a couple other people that we have up there right now. And we're going to be doing episodes, every week on that. So I would definitely check it out.
Tonight?
What's up?
Yeah.
We do. We're gonna have Kemp on tonight.
Send him my love. I miss that guy.
I will. We're excited.
We pulled him out of the abyss.
We did. We pulled Kemp and Courtney out, and we're like, "Hey guys, I know you guys don't know what a computer is, but let me give you a quick lesson, and we'll jump on one." So that's a joke. Sean runs his own company, so he knows everything about computers.
Yeah, he's pretty.
He's got like 20 minions who work for him. So, but yeah, no, I think that is an unpopular opinion, though, Brad. I don't think we need 2 wounds for troops.
But it's just that's what I'm saying. It's just that is just my opinion. That's it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. No, I heard you. I'm just telling you it's wrong. That's all. Just saying your opinion sucks and it's
like the way
stupid.
You think it's terrible.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying anything else. So, but I do think that we will see some cool chaos stuff, because I think chaos really struggle from being able to survive. I think they have awesome damage output, but then their ability to survive after the damage output sucks. And I think with going 2 wounds on some of these units, you're going to see some cool lists. I'm really excited for what Terminators can do. I'm really excited for what the Specialist Marines and Chaos can do, and to see some of the army lists that come out of it. I'm a big Chaos fan, so I want to see some cool stuff there. And if they get a new book with some flair, that'd even be better. So
I'm looking forward to Grey Knight strike squads with 2 wounds.
So they don't get instantly disintegrated by anything. You're like, hey, it's a strike squad. And it's gone.
Yeah, I'm actually worried about the 2 wound thing, because there's so much damage too right now in the game. So I'm worried is like the 2 wounds even going to make an impact, or is everyone in the meta just going to start shifting to damage 2 weaponry and just not care?
Wow. I think most people have, though, and that's why I've been switching to so much of the Gravis guys that are all 3 wounds, because I think that the meta is going to be very 2 wound-ish.
Yeah. I can see that for Marines, but Chaos don't have that option, right? I mean, Havocs, I think, have 2 wounds right now, so they'll go to 3 if they get an extra wound. But I don't think there's too many like Marine-based Chaos stuff that has 2 right now. So I think they're going to unfortunately still be at 2, whereas the Marines always have the Primaris option. So I think we need to get on the phone, call up Fabius Bile, be like, "Yo, what's up, dude? Where's the Gene Seed? Where are the Chaos Primaris? I don't know where they are, but they need to get here soon, just to help out Chaos, man." I'm always loyal to Horus, by the way. Screw the Emperor. He's a dictator.
With all the demons and all everything they can do, I think it's an interesting, especially in this edition.
Daniel, this one time I didn't hear anything you said, so
At band camp,
you're gonna have to repeat
the
it.
demon stuff in that.
Wait up, let Daniel repeat his comment, because I literally didn't hear him at all.
Oh, you didn't hear any of it?
No, it didn't come through at all.
No. I said
There
I
we
think KSD keyword in this edition is very strong still, though, with all the ally possibilities with demons and everything. I mean they should get 2 wounds as the Space Marine does, but I'm not crying a river over the KS keyword.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be strong, and it hasn't even gotten anything.
Yeah, but keyword manipulation isn't as strong as it was in 8th, right, guys? Because now we have to pay for detachments.
Some, though, but you can bring a lot of things together. I just think that you can also do stuff. I mean, Chaos can cheat it out, though, because they can use summoning. So if something's very, very good in Demons, you can just throw it in there, you know what I mean, by basically only 1 battalion, but you save yourself some points, and then you just summon it in. I mean, it's obviously extra steps, but you still get all your CP at that point in time. So there's things that you can do. And I think that there's going to be, I'm super excited, and we're going to talk about this in some future casts, but I'm really excited to talk about how different the meta is everywhere in the country and other countries because of the fact of COVID keeping us apart. It's weird because we're getting a very wacky, specific metas everywhere, and I want to talk about them, and I can't wait till we do.
All right. I think we should definitely talk about that in the future. But I think we're good for today. Thank you guys all for joining. We walked through a couple different topics. We're going to have another live cast or a video cast up on YouTube on Friday, and we'll be casting again on the stream on Tuesday. So see you guys then.